Hey guys, welcome to another Raising Capital show. I'm your host, Nate Dodson, along with the co-host, Jillian Sidoti, here to say hi and, and to meet really an amazing guest that we've got, Gene Massey. And honestly, Gene goes back a long time with both Jillian and myself. But Jillian, maybe you want to take it from here and hey.
Honestly, I think what Gene has always done is Gene's always done the media behind the raise, right? So I think one of the things people really want to know, Gene, right now is what is the best media to be using to be raising capital?
Well, funny you should ask, because there's only one thing that will really return a ROAS, which ROAS means return on ad spend. You'll see that term a lot in our business. And it is Facebook and Instagram ads. You can do LinkedIn, you can do Google clicks, pay-per-click, you can do YouTube pre-rolls, but we have found nothing has the return of Facebook and Instagram ads.
Wow.
And there's a reason for that. And that is Facebook knows what Jillian likes. If you're a golfer, it knows you play golf. Oh, we got a golf ad. Now they've got, I don't know, a couple of 100 million members that have maybe 100 million, let's say, Facebook pages. And Facebook goes, golf. It looks through all of its pages and says, Jillian's a golfer. Okay, we'll show this ad to her. Right? And that's exactly what it does. That's how it knows. That's why it returns. Because the secret is I want to show an ad to somebody that wants to see it.
Right.
Right. I want to show an ad to somebody that's a good perspective. You know, I did a thing with a TV channel. I tried advertising on TV. You know, they've got these things now where they buy time that's nobody's using, and they get it for $1 or whatever and sell it to you for $5. So I tried a thing with my current client, Klondike Royalties, and they're a good company. They're willing to experiment with a few things. So we spent $1,500 with, and I better not say who the TV company was because they'll get mad, but we spent $1,500 worth of advertising, and we targeted, they said, CNBC. I only want the commercials to run on CNBC. Wherever CNBC is playing, whatever channels it's on, only run it on CNBC, and only between 8 and 12 in the morning when people are watching the stock shows, not at night when something else is on. They didn't. They had a $98 CPM, which is a cost per thousand, which is hugely expensive. And the guy said, oh, we can get that price down, and we'll expand the audience and get it down to $30. So they got it down to $30. I said, listen, I don't want to run this. I know you can do that, but then you're going to run it at the bus station, right?
Can I ask you, is this just for like a short advertisement or more like an infomercial?
TV commercial in all cases in Meta, and Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. And I'm going to tell you about their algorithm in a minute, because that's the big secret now. They run TV commercials, and we run a 60 instead of a 30, because you really need 60 seconds to tell your whole story. Since we're talking about stories here, you need 60 seconds at least to tell your story. You can do 90 seconds, but after that, it better be really entertaining if you're going to run 90 seconds. But in 60 seconds, we've actually got people that'll watch the 60 seconds, and there's a click under the Facebook or Instagram ad. There's a place you can click and go to the landing page. No other media can you do that. You can't do that on TV. You're watching TV. Right. Oh, let me stop what I'm doing and go turn on my computer and find that URL they were talking about. No, you're on a computer on Facebook and an ad, or you're in Instagram and you click on the link that goes to the landing page. You can't beat that. And
No.
Is the video on Facebook or is the ad on your landing page?
both. When you go to the landing page, they see some more ads, and they see the last webinar, and they see some written materials, and they see the Form C, the offerings.
Okay.
And they see all the things that relate to your offering. You've got to show them that. You've got a little disclaimer down at the bottom. You're going to lose your money, stuff like that. So that's the good thing about it. But you go there, but you have to get them to the landing page. And the landing page is supposed to be the place where the conversion takes place, because you've shown them an ad. And this happens a lot. You show them an ad and they go, wow, that's great. Really? You can do that, and you're going to make all that money in that deal? Okay, you go there. And then you go to the landing page and says, okay, here you go. And then you click through something and says, give me your money. Well, wait a minute. You want me to give you my money? And so on the landing page, you have to make that conversion. So your 60-second spot has to have a story that's compelling enough. So when you get to the landing page, you're going to tell them a little bit more, and you're going to give them the opportunity to give you their money.
And you say there's the story, and that's really where I wanted to focus a lot today, because a lot of people don't understand there's some mechanics around how to create a story. You've got an opportunity, but now how do you get people engaged and excited?
I was a TV commercial director for more years than I want to admit here, but TV commercials taught me how to tell something. In my day, it was 30 seconds. You better tell a story in 30 seconds and get somebody to go to the store and buy that thing. And so now I've got 60 seconds to make a commercial that drives them that convinces them to click on something. And they click on it. Now, a lot of people click on it just because it's so entertaining or so good or so compelling, and they go there and then they go, oh, you mean I have to give up my money? Well, I don't know about that. And so a lot of times you go to the landing page and they go through the process, and they've even logged in and given their email address and name and everything, but they don't give you the money. And so you have to do some follow-up on that. You have to call, maybe somebody calls them, or you send them another email or whatever, but it's not always right now. Some people want to think about it, but the stories that we've created to drive people to the page have been good enough. We've had several $250,000 investments on a landing.
Wow.
And I can do that to you. I mean, we have several 200,000s and 100,000. And now we're doing something very unique that Nate may want to do another webinar on, and that we have a Reg D and a Reg CF at the same time.
Right.
Now, people that don't know what that is, a Reg D is accredited investors, and a Reg CF's non-accredited investors. And we have our landing page set up in such a way that when they go there, they can choose. If you're accredited, you're a millionaire. Okay. And we tell them what that is. You got to be a millionaire, or 200,000, whatever. And they go, yes, I've got plenty of money. I'm going to try that one. Then they got a $25,000 minimum. You go to the other one, the non-accredited is a $500 minimum. So
so we don't go down too far down that rabbit hole, because I got to be honest, a lot of the people that are watching here today, and if you have any questions, drop them in chat. But a lot of them are just getting started in raising capital, getting started in their entrepreneurial careers. So we don't need to get overly complicated with these side-by-side offerings or
take
how
my
it all.
advice and quit now. Very complicated process, and they shouldn't.
No, wait. Though I want to back up for a second, because this is fascinating to me, right? That because years ago we would have never told anybody to use Facebook and Instagram ads, right? Because that wasn't the way. And it's interesting to me to juxtapose that to say like YouTube or Google AdWords, and to put that stake in the ground of like, no, it's Facebook and Instagram ads, not LinkedIn, not YouTube, not Google AdWords, like taking TV out of it and taking comparable media. But let's do this. Let's talk about what makes a good Facebook ad?
Well, what makes a good Facebook ad is the TV commercial itself and the content of that. And for example, I'll tell you a client that I've got now is a long-term passive investment. Long-term, it's like 35 years. You're going to invest in something that's going to pay over 35 years. So I created a commercial that shows a long-term investment. It shows people graduating, getting married, and all that stuff. And a good portion of the initial part of the commercial was human stuff like that. Oh yeah, and getting on a private jet and all that stuff, you know. And so you craft it to appeal to what you're doing. The story has to, you know, if I'm selling lawnmowers, I've got to show examples of how well my lawnmower works compared to other lawnmowers or things like that. And you have to show that it's really this unique lawnmower. It's all electric now. And not only that, but you, just like a car can drive itself, these lawnmowers can drive themselves now, or whatever features you have to show in your story.
Would you say that it's kind of results driven, of showing this is what you get as the consumer, as the investor? Well, really, and then it's the path of how you're going to get there? Or
every investor wants to know three things for sure. How am I not going to lose my money? So you've got to have some convincing in your story. They're not going to lose money on that. That's a flying motorcycle. Everybody's going to want one of those, okay? Or something where you convince them they're not going to lose your money. And you've got great people. Look at the guy that's talking. He's smart. Something like that. Second thing, since this is a new company, this is not IBM, this is not Google, how am I going to get an exponential return for an exchange for the risk? How am I going to get money back more than many times what I invest, or at least a good percentage return on my investment? That's the second thing. The third thing every investor wants to know is, when do I get my money back and how? So if I know those things as an investor, then I'm not going to lose money on this one, and they're going to get, I make a lot of money on this one. And number three, they're doing an IPO. Okay. You know, so those three things are very important. Now you can't always get those in a commercial. You can't always get that in 60 seconds, but you can get.
It is sounding like kind of the exit strategy of the when am I going to get my money back and how much am I going to get, and kind of the method for that is one of the most important things for anybody that's making an investment, is thinking about, or offering investment should be thinking about that exit. Would you say that's correct?
Without a doubt. I want to know, when do I get my money back? You know, and we were talking earlier about crowdfunding. A lot of people have put something money in. It's been years. They ain't got the money back yet. So everybody wants to, when am I going to get my money back, and how? Oh, you're doing an IPO. Oh, this company's made an offer. You've got a letter of intent from somebody to buy you or something. You know, what's the story? The story is we just filed our NASDAQ ticker symbol. I've got a client that has done that. Oh, you filed for NASDAQ? Well, no, we haven't filed for NASDAQ. We got our ticker symbol and we're ready to go whenever we can. So that gives you a clue that their plan is to go public. Now,
do you have any examples of how that can work in telling your story through a 30-second, 60-second ad? Because it does. This is what's important. Now, how does that get conveyed in such a short time period?
Well, I'll show you a 60-second spot. I've got several. I'll do this presenter thing, a video file. Let's see here. Can I go? Oh no, I got to do it that way. Okay, here's this. Okay, let's see if this works. I'm going to click on. Whoops, looks like it doesn't have a video track. Really? Okay. All right. Present. Share screen. Yeah, I can do that. All right.
Make sure you put sound on.
Yes. Share audio. Look for the share audio. Follow these steps to share a video with audio. Okay, I'll do that. How to share.
We'll take it step by step. Eventually, we'll get there.
Let's see, I'm going to do this. Also share audio. Okay, yeah, this should work. Can you see that screen?
I can see nothing.
You don't see anything.
Now we can. Something's coming. Here we go. All right.
You see that? Okay.
I do.
How about now? Is it full screen now?
It is.
You got it.
Okay. Here's an example.
Please
in all
work.
history, there has never been a better time to invest in American oil. Klondike Royalties is an investment company, and we own the royalties to almost 16,000 acres in the Cook Inlet of Alaska. We are not drilling here. As the oil is produced and sold, we collect our royalties from oil producers, just like the state of Alaska. Royalties are monthly revenues. A third-party engineering firm has estimated that our acreage holds over 300 million barrels of oil, expected to produce revenues for over 35 years. As an investor, you can share in these revenues, estimated by this engineering firm to be 17 times your investment for an average annual return of 50%. A long-term passive investment for you and for your grandchildren. Klondike royalties come from American oil. Click the link or scan the code to learn more.
Okay, I want to guess the avatar. I want to guess the investor avatar. Can I?
Yeah.
They're boomers who mostly vote Republican and spend a significant amount of time on Facebook.
Well, what Facebook can do is it goes and says, Joe's always talking about oil. You know, he's in the oil business. Okay. You know, you can find, it knows who you are. You do not want people to know just how much they know about you. If, for example, if somebody logs in to the invest.klondikeroyalties.com website, I know how much money they make. There's data collection. I know they're married. I know how many children they have. I know their home address. I know their 3 or 4 emails. I know their cell numbers, their home numbers, just from logging in to the website. And if you think I know that much about a potential investor, can you imagine what Facebook knows about you and what Google knows about you? For example, there's a data solution now that if you search for something, I can go and let's pretend you're searching for oil and gas. I have a data solution. I can go in and I can get a printout of the 10,000 people that are searching for oil and gas. And I'll know their phone number, their email address, their home address. Are they married? What's their income? What's their net worth? Where do they work? What's the company's name where they work? If you think Facebook knows, if you think this data company knows that, what do you think Facebook knows?
Right.
So they target you based on your
way too much
investment. LinkedIn does not do that. LinkedIn, you can go on there and whatever somebody's put into their profile. Gene's a marketing person, okay, and he's doing well and he's got some money. Okay, I'll target him and I'll send him a message. But it does not do anything close to what Facebook and Instagram do. Now, there's a new development with Facebook and Instagram, with Meta, which owns.
I hear they got some AI new.
They do, and this is what it is. For the longest time, Facebook and Instagram used what's called a lookalike audience, and they still do to a certain extent. A lookalike audience says when you go on Facebook or Instagram and you try to buy some advertising, it says, well, who do you want me to show this to? And you input a list of emails and names and numbers and of people that you know are oil and gas investors. Facebook goes, oh, oil and gas investors, we got those. And then it goes out and looks for people that match your audience, that lookalike audience, they call it. We're going to show this to people just like you. You've got Bill and George and Sam, and I've got Miss Betty and Rudy and all these other things, just like them. And so I'll show my ad to them. Now, they want to show the ad to the right person because they want you to buy some more ads. And if you get a good return, you'll buy more ads. So what they have done now, they've got a new algorithm called Andromeda. Andromeda looks at your ad and it says, oh, a real estate ad. Okay. Oh, it's multifamily real estate ad. Oh, it's in Texas. Oh, okay. And it returns 8%. Okay. And it looks at your commercial, whatever your content that you're advertising with. Sometimes it's not a commercial, by the way. Sometimes it's just pictures. It's a PowerPoint or whatever. You know, they call it a carousel. It'll just show some.
But it actually can look at videos as well.
ChatGPT can. You think Meta can't? Right?
Fair enough.
So they look at your commercial and they find people that fit your commercial to show it to. And so guess what that does to media shares? We make commercials. It makes it more dependent on our commercial than it does on someone putting in a list of names for lookalike audience. This year we won our 6th Telly Award for our commercials for this Klondike company, and so we know, and we won awards from Clio, New York Festival, LA Art Directors. We won a lot of awards for commercials over the years. So this is really good for us. It says we're going to make all of our advertising dependent upon the commercial. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say to Meta. Thank you very much. Right? It's not just an email list anymore. They still use that. They use that and look at the commercial and says, oh, the lookalike audiences, those are all billionaires, not millionaires. Those are all billionaires. And the commercial is real estate. So I'm looking for billionaire real estate investors or whatever. But they target it now.
And what I've heard is the more ads you run, the better it is at helping you refine your audience. So actually your ROAS, your return on ad spend, increases the more that you're actually advertising.
Yes, it's absolutely true, because it gets tired of the same ad. And when I first made the first ad, I was so proud because the client loved it. I loved it. I thought it was good, and it brought in money. It brought in a guy with $250,000. The guy watched the commercial and came on the landing page and put in $250,000. They called me up and they said, "You just paid for yourself for the year."
Wow.
And $100,000 investments in Klondike after that. Yesterday we had a $25,000, and this is what's so good about it is when you have large investments come in like that, it changes the ROAS. You know how many $500 investments you have to have, but if you got a couple of 100,000, you're okay. The client's okay as long as you got those big ones coming in. They're okay with the spend, because every client looks at the spend. How much are we spending now? We spent $10,000 this month on advertising. Yeah, but you got 80,000, 90.
And that, I think, is a good question. You just mentioned $10,000 getting spent. If I was looking to fund my business, how should I budget, or what should I really expect for the capital that comes back in?
It doesn't matter, and here's why. Because when you spend a little, you test. You spend 1,000 and 5,000 comes back. You take 2,000 of that and you spend some more, and 10,000 comes back. And you spend some more. He says, this works. And you spend 20,000 and 150,000 comes back.
Well, hold on though. Let's get down to brass tacks on this, because I know there's people who are watching this going like, I want to start spending money so I can get some to come back. But listen, I've done bad Facebook ads. I've done it. Like everybody out there, I've done bad Facebook ads that returned nothing on investment.
So have I.
Yeah. So I guess the question for you is, first of all, what's the minimum and the maximum they should start off with, right? And what should be their, price per acquisition, or, because you're throwing some numbers out there that sound good, but let's like really break it down. Like if I spend 1,000 and I get 5,000 back, that's good if I'm making sales. That's not good if I'm advertising necessarily, because that means I have a 20% ad budget, right? And that's not good for a startup company to have 20% ad budget, just to get investors through the door, not actually to make revenues. So let's use some real numbers.
Real numbers are, if you're getting a 5 times return on your spend, if you spend $1,000 and you get $5,000 back in investments, not many people are doing better than that.
Okay, so that is good. I just want to I want to verify that is good.
That we are, but most people, they go 3 times, 4 times. Now, why would anyone in their right mind want to spend 20% of the money that they get to get the money?
A lot of people we work with are in real estate, and those numbers kind of blow real estate out the market.
I had a big Dallas real estate firm cancel their Reg A when they found out it was going to cost them 20% on their money to get the money. They said, well, we're only paying, the client's going to get maybe 15%. So this is not going to work. Now, so they have to go out to their clients. They can do emails, which are cheap, and go out to the people they know. They can have a dinner at the Four Seasons or something, or whatever they're going to do, but they can't spend 20% of the money they're going to get. It doesn't work for everybody.
That's what I'm saying. That was what I was saying.
Let me finish. This very, very important point. Why would anyone, even any company, want to spend 20% of its money to get it? Because with crowdfunding, they can get it at a different valuation.
Okay.
And the people that are putting money in crowdfunding, they don't know what valuation is. They think a $50 million company is much better than a $20 million company. And they're investing in a $50 million company. Oh, okay. And they don't understand liquidity and analysis and all the facts. Most people put in $500, 1,000. I think the average is 1,000 or 1,200 or something. So if a company can get $1 million for 5% of its equity instead of $1 million from a VC for 30% of the company, where do I sign?
Right.
And so that's why crowdfunding is okay, because you can get and not only that, but you get the other benefit, which is a super plus benefit. I'm going to spend $1,000 on getting this $5,000, and I'm also marketing the company. So every dime that I spend, I get a double return. I get the money, and I'm also letting everybody know about my flying motorcycle, or whatever product. So that's why
what I'm hearing from you is it may work in oil and gas, it may work in company startups, it may work in horses, but then there's other asset classes such as mortgages that, because there's just not the profitability spread, that doing the crowdfunding through Meta may not make sense.
Will not work. If you can't afford to spend 20% of the money that you're going to get to advertise it to get it, then don't do that.
That's a really important fact.
Well, let me tell you the cold, hard truth. Let's say people watch this and they say, oh God, that guy's smart. I want to work with media shares. No, let me tell you the sad story. We're $12,000 a month to create the ads, to do the emails, to manage the whole campaign. And you're going to spend another $13,000, $14,000 a month in ads. So the first month you're going to spend 12 grand. You don't get anything. Nothing. Okay. No, because I'm making your ads. I'm getting everything ready for your offering. And then the second month you're going to cost you 25,000 because you're going to pay us and you're going to advertise $12,000. And you don't go out and write a check for 12,000. You try 1,000. Now I make another ad and try that and make another ad until finally, that one hit. Okay, that was good. So you go to somebody and say, you're going to spend $40,000. Don't call me unless you've got $40,000 because it's not going to work.
I heard you just mention something, and hear it called A/B testing. You try this ad and it works. You try that ad and it doesn't work. And once you figure out what's working, then you really start to promote or push that type of ad.
Don't let me sound like I'm just throwing a lot of stuff against the wall, because we're very good at making commercials. So we don't just make one and see what happens. No, we're smart. You know, we know what kind of commercial to make if you've got a certain kind of product, and we don't take everybody. Some companies, I know marketing companies, they got 30 or 40 clients that they're crowdfunding for. We don't take more than 2.
You know, we've got a great comment on here, and it is getting back to creating ads and telling a story and what works and what doesn't work. Let me just read it and love to get your reaction to it. A sequence for an ad. You have your hook with facts, your question situation. You're explaining the context and why it's important. Then focusing on the pain point, creating tension and problem resolve. Finally, a call to action. Does that make sense in terms of building an ad?
No.
Okay.
Okay, fair.
I love that response. Please explain.
Well, it can. Let me rephrase that. Not no, but it can. That sequence you described can. But what more than anything else, yes, it's true. You better have something in the first 8 seconds where people go, oh, Jennifer Aniston running across the beach. Oh, okay, I'll click on that. Or something where I'm looking, I want to watch. I tell people this story a lot. I hope I don't overtelling it, but I got introduced to a billionaire investor once. They said he's in Santa Monica at the tennis club. You're going to be sitting at a table, and he's going to come out and meet you, and you're going to pitch him your deal. I said, okay. Yeah, so I'm sitting at a table waiting for this billionaire, a real billionaire, right? And everybody swears he's the guy, and he's invested in things, you know, and he's okay. So I'm sitting there, and he walks in the room in his tennis outfit. And he walks in over. Before his elbows hit the table, he said, okay, what do you got for me? Not hello, not nice to meet you, not are you Gene? No, nothing. What do you got for me? And that's what's happening on the internet. What do you got for me? Everybody's going around, clicking all around here, looking at, oh my God, Trump did that. Oh my God. And this. And they said, look at that. Oh, an investment opportunity. What is it? Oh no, I don't know. Click, click, click. This is what you're up against. So they're right when they say a hook, but it's not your traditional hook. It means get me where I want to see some more. Okay. Now, how do you do that? Well, on Facebook and Instagram, what we did, because everybody's trying to stop, don't click, don't scroll past this. Let me tell you about this. That's what everybody's doing.
Okay.
We've got a really great story here for you. No, I didn't do that. I showed something that was entirely different. It was a family at a picnic, and it had a story, you know. Oh, okay. It was different from everything else on Facebook and Instagram. And then you go to another thing with couples getting married, and another thing where this girl's graduating, you know, and this is the one that won a Telly this year, by the way. And so you involve them only after maybe 25, only after 20 seconds of a 30-second spot. Do they even know what this is? But I'm involved. Do
you really think that you're grabbing people's attention with that slower lead in rather than a hook?
I got people that's done $250,000. So I guess it does. And it's got a huge return, you know, now I must admit, this is the best oil and gas deal that anybody's ever seen. There's no drilling. There's no risk. Okay. They're just collecting money from oil producers. They get a percentage of it, and you get a percentage of that. And you might, the engineering report says you're going to get 50% on your money. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. And they're not saying that. The third party engineering report says projected 50% return on your money. So you can legally say things like that if you got risk things along with it. But the whole secret is just a nice personal thing where you're involving people, which is different from all the noise.
Kind of tearing apart the ad that you had in there. Yeah, I do see that you didn't have a hook in terms of that attention grabbing, but it did seem like it was more results oriented. Here's the
Yes, but my original idea for this ad, which is the 5th ad that we've done for them, and the reason I started off with the American business is everybody's concerned about Mideast oil and the block of the Hormuz and all that stuff. So I thought, we got an American oil. This is American oil. Oh, American oil. Yeah, American oil. And you saw those flags? Those are all AI flags. Those flags on top of the oil things, those are all AI flags. And so it took me a week to make that commercial. A week. First of all, you got to think of it. You don't just write something and do it. You think about it, and then you change the thing, and then you give ChatGPT the copy and everything, and you come back and think about it some more. And ChatGPT says, "No, you need to change that right there." And you can't say that. That's not going to be legal. Okay. And so after you finally get it, then you got to record it. My client is the voiceover. Chuck Fraze at Klondike had a great voice. First of all, I tried to do it myself. I've done some myself, and I can sound like a voiceover. So I tried to do it myself. And I was listening to Chuck. He's got a great voice. And so I used him. Not only that, but he knows how to do it. He, some people don't have a voice. They read it like, it doesn't work. But Chuck's got this great voice. So, but then I got to record it. Okay. And then I have to put it in the editing system. And then I've got to find all those stock footage shots. A lot of the commercials that we do them on Zoom. I have a client talking to me on Zoom, and he's doing just like a spokesperson spot. I used to go there, take all my equipment and everything, and go film them, and fly to Texas and film everything. And it's not much better than I can get on Zoom. So I've got Zoom and stock footage. My client doing the own voice. And we've got a winning commercial that would ordinarily cost $100,000 if you went to Alaska and shot all those shots and everything. And you can find stuff now on stock footage.
Is it still taking you a week to create an ad, or because of AI, has it really shortened up that turnaround time?
No, it takes a week, even with ChatGPT and Claude and all the different Runway makes videos for you. I mean, you use all the applications now, and even then, it doesn't shorten the idea that's in my brain. It corrects it a little bit. It goes, you can't say that, and it goes, what would be better if you said this, if you said that, then what you're doing. Oh, okay.
Let me ask you this: what areas and components are you really leveraging AI to create the ad versus it is the manual labor and what you're designing yourself as well?
Well, here's the good news. A commercial I shot the commercials for Callaway Golf for 7 years, $100,000. By the time you had lunch with the crew and a 20-man crew, I'm in the Directors Guild, so we had a union shoot. We'd go down to Callaway and shoot the commercial. It's $100,000. I saved money because I'd shoot 5 in one day. Don't do that anymore. The good news now is you got stock footage. It's better than I could go shoot myself. I'm going to wait for the sunset until the thing. No, it already exists. I'm going to fly to Texas. No, I got to shoot the guy on Zoom. So it's wonderful now, the quality that you can get using these kinds of tools and having someone who's smarter than me. ChatGPT is obviously smarter than me. It's not moody, like me, and it'll tell me what to do. It's a great sounding board, and it corrects your dialogue. Says, no, don't say that. Don't start off with that. Start off with this other sentence, And if I were you, I wouldn't have that shot in there. You can find a better shot than that. And you can actually show it the commercials, and it'll tell you, no, I wouldn't do that one. That's not as good. It's like having an editor. It's like working with you And then you show it to the client, and the client comes back and says, well, maybe we change this,
Let me ask you a question pretty directly.
Okay.
I'm looking to raise capital. I'm looking to start doing some advertising. Could you give me some advice on a sequence or how? I'm trying to do it all myself. I've never done this before. Can you give me some of these initial steps that I should be thinking about or doing so I can produce an ad?
Yes, the first thing you do is you back into it from the audience. You visualize yourself as the audience. You got to completely divorce yourself from your ideas and your plans and your values, even to completely divorce yourself and put yourself in the eyes of the audience looking at it. What's going to excite this person into buying a new lawnmower? A new type of lawnmower.
And that's exactly what Jillian was talking about with the investor avatar. So we're really thinking about who we're talking to first and then what their interest is.
You back into it and you say, well, this person doesn't have $1 million. So what are they're going to put in $1,000? Why would they put in $1,000? Okay. You have to back into everything about it. People are, and you even look at it before we take on a client. We look at it and say, is people going to buy that? No, they're not going to buy that. Then we don't want to take them on. And so it's hard. It's the hardest thing for us is finding the right client. Since we only take 2 at a time, we have to find a really good client with a really good product. Know it's going to do well.
I'm creating my ad. I've figured out who my investor avatar is. Now, what's my next step? What am I doing?
You have to write the copy.
Okay.
And ChatGPT can help you write the copy. You can say, you can even do this. Say, write me a commercial for a new type of lawnmower that you don't have to push. It mows the lawn by itself. It looks at your yard and you place these stakes around your yard or whatever, and it goes back and forth and it mows your own yard. So you got to figure out, okay, how am I going to do that? So you write the copy for that. You tell ChatGPT, write me a commercial about an autonomous lawnmower that'll mow my grass. And it'll write you, and it'll tell you. And then you go, no, but you didn't put the part in here about this, and you didn't put the part about this. It runs on electricity and you charge it. You got to mention that. Oh, okay. And it comes back and you go back and forth with ChatGPT and then you time it and it comes out and you tell ChatGPT that's 63 seconds. You can't just talk fast. As a matter of fact, there's music in between, so you got to have spaces in there for the music to be heard. And you don't want the commercial to sound like this, where you're talking like that's the whole time. Now I see
you don't want it to talk the whole time and not have a break in there.
Give me time to absorb the shots, absorb the thought. I need a good, clean thought here. Next thought, good, clean thought. Next thought, good, clean thought. And so when you're done, you look at ChatGPT and this is too much copy. And you better rewrite this. And so this is how I do it anyway. And so now you've got something that you yourself can read very comfortably with spaces in between in 60 seconds. And then you record it. You record it down. And then you ask ChatGPT, give me the shots for these lines. And it'll give you the shots. It says you should.
It'll actually create the video for you, or
it'll tell you what shots to use. And there is software that you can go find the shots if you want. I use stock footage because I look through hundreds and hundreds of pictures before I find one for that first shot. And then the second shot is a wedding. Oh, you know how many weddings there are in iStock.com? You have to look through all the weddings, and you want to find where you see the people's faces, and you want to see love in the shot, not just a couple throwing the thing overhead. You want to see love in it so that people are touched by it, and so you want to find the right shots for everything. ChatGPT will think, you need a shot of a wedding, a shot of a wedding, and a wedding should be such and such. Okay. and you go and just look for stock footage, or you go into one of the applications that actually makes a wedding, and they have, they're not as good. If you can find the shot on stock footage, and they're only $20 a shot. So you get
now, editing wise, do you do all the editing yourself, or do you outsource that process?
I'm physically the editor.
Okay.
Actually put all this together myself, and I actually edit it, actually trim it, actually take that shot and change that shot. That's not right, you know, and I got to go through all, you know, put like I had to put the flags on top of the oil derricks and stuff, you know, with the chat, with the, that's called Runway that does those shots. That's another AI program, but you put those flags on there for American oil. There's American flags all over the place, you know. So, and the whole effect that you get from watching it is you go, yeah, American oil. We don't need to worry about our oil overseas. We got oil here. Okay. You know, and this is investing in American oil. We're not investing over there somewhere, investing here. Okay. That was the gist of this. You know, the oil that we did this way, you know. Okay.
For the editing tools that you use, you've mentioned a couple of different AI tools that you use.
There's Final Cut, there's DaVinci, there's Adobe Premiere.
I'm just getting started. You know, it's really simple one for us novices to figure out.
What?
Well,
we need it desperately.
It'd be like me telling you to write a book. Is there any kind of software I can get to help me write the book? Or is there any, you know, is there a way to do it simply? No, it's hard. Now, but you can do it, but you got to learn how to edit. You got to learn how to do the AI stuff. You got to learn how to write. You have to have talent for it. You know, if you're creating a commercial, you really need talent for it. It's like if I decided I want to be a singer, either I've got a voice or I don't, you know, and no matter what I do, if I don't have a voice, I'm not going to do well. And so if they have talent for it, they'll figure it out. There's all kind of software now. There's all kind of tutorials. You can go on Udemy and learn just about any of these softwares. You can go on YouTube and type in on YouTube, tutorial for DaVinci or tutorial for Final Cut, and it'll show you the basics of these things. And many of them are simple enough that you can do the basics to get it really sophisticated. You know, how do I take a logo and drop out the background so that it's will lay over a picture? And little things like that. It takes a while, but there are basics that you can learn in the tutorials that you can do it yourself.
I know I've used like Fiverr or Upwork to try to find some offshore people that already have some skills. I know that working with yourself or more domestic editors, you tend to get a little better quality, but I don't know, Jillian, what's your experience?
I mean, I think that I've tried my hand at editing videos, and I am a terrible video editor, and I've spent a lot of time on it. And the best I can do is like CapCut templates, right? So to me, I think you should always look towards hiring a professional. I will say this: I thought the ad that Gene presented was actually really good. I had no idea those American flags were AI. I don't know how I feel about that in an ad though for
that's a good point, because a lot of people have made fun of the fact that some of the stuff looks like AI. I didn't think it looked like, I mean, it did look like stock footage, but it didn't look like AI. The only thing I would say about it though is like, if you're going to do that, and I guess this is more of a question for Nate than Gene, like what kind of disclaimers do you have to put on that kind of, do you have to put any disclaimers on that kind of stuff?
I'm not, I don't know. Just because you have a different flag, I wouldn't have a disclaimer on there, but you do definitely have disclaimers that this is an investment. You can lose your money. So there are disclaimers that go along with an investment advertisement. But just leveraging a little AI, I don't think that there's, unless you're representing, there's some professional spokesperson or a customer, that could be taken a little misrepresentation wise, but
you can take
not for the flags.
You can take a still shot of a person there, and you can record a sample of their voice somewhere. You can then write the copy that you want that person to say, and you can put a picture of them on screen, and the software will create that voice saying that copy in that face in lip sync. So yes, it is a very sophisticated world now. You can't go out and you can't show a picture of Nate selling a product and take some of this audio and put it in there and say, Nate endorses this product. No, you can't do that. So it's very sophisticated now. And there are a lot of rules about it. And that's why you hire a guy like Nate before you do anything like this, because you get in a lot of trouble. This is a very sophisticated business with a lot of rules and regulations, and you can get in so much trouble. They can shut down the whole offering. If I do the wrong thing, they would shut down my client's offering. You know,
Jillian, I know that you've created actually a lot of viral content over the years. Is there any secret sauce that you would give kind of to the audience of how to just take an ad, or you're just creating short form, like a 30-second clip of yourself, and how to really make it pop online through social media?
The things that I've done the best are always the things that come with the unexpected, right? Like, so even if you're presenting something, you end with something unexpected. And like anytime I've tried to do rote content, I fail miserably. It doesn't come out as good as if I put something in that's a little unexpected. Now, in this scenario where we're talking about with investments, like the thing I always find that works best is either to exacerbate fear or allay fear. Like fear is a huge emotion, right? Especially when it comes to investing or dealing with the law. And so when I was dealing with the law in particular, the videos that I did always well were the ones that were like, it's going to be okay. And let me tell you why, you know, or let me tell you how we can make it okay for you. And so it was always about how can we get rid of that fear, or how can we exacerbate fear if you do not act, right? So right now I have a travel channel, and I hate this so much. I actually talked to my social media manager about this. She's doing such fear-based content. And like if you leave your wallet, if you leave your wallet on a train in Mumbai, it's going to get stolen. Like stuff like that. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, of course it's going to get stolen. But like, you know, that fear, like, and I don't like that for a travel content channel, because I want people to go, I want them to travel. And the whole concept is like, if you want to travel safe, you better follow me so that you can make sure your stuff doesn't get stolen when you travel. And it's like, no, I really want you to just go out and do anything, whatever you want. And be fearless when you travel, but you do have to take precautions, right? But that stuff doesn't sell. What sells is, don't leave. You've got to buy this special thing to make sure you don't get pickpocketed in Paris. Like, you know, like that's what works. So, and it works the same in raising capital. Exacerbate the fear and then give them the solution for that fear, or allay the fear. And you're still like, all roads lead to you as the solution. Like, and with Gene, I'll tell you right now, Gene, I know somebody, I know them very well. A gentleman who that ad is made for. It's a gentleman who's in his 70s, who has made a lot of money, who watches, you know, CNBC, Fox News, and then switches over to CNN. And he sometimes votes Republican, and he sometimes votes Democrat, but he leans more right. And he invested in a bunch of oil wells in Kentucky, and they're not doing well. And you know why? Because he has to put in the pipelines himself to drill. That ad speaks direct to him. We're not doing any drilling and you get to make all the money, right? So it's a different way, but you got it. So what's the answer to the question? How do you figure this out? You got to know what the fear is so you can address it without being like, I am on my travel channel.
That's why we say in the ad, in all of the ads, we're not drilling.
Right. No, that's because that's their fear, right? That's part of the fear.
Money drilling. Nate will not even handle any oil clients because everybody's all lost their money in lawsuits and everything. He don't want to mess with that. Right.
That's actually a true statement. It's see way too much wildcatting, especially being in Texas.
Right.
I don't touch those types of deals.
Yeah, a couple of people made $1 bazillion. And majority of them lost their money. It's the same in the movie business. You know, I bet you don't handle a movie business either. but
those we help with, but it's entertaining and people expect to lose.
But that's why we say, no drilling. We allay those fears. It's very important to mention that we're not. This is not a drilling operation. We just collect money from those guys that drill. The oil's already coming out, right?
Right. Yeah.
But you know what I say that's her take on your question. My take is I try to get love into it somewhere. And in my first ad, I had weddings and graduation and stuff, long-term investments, is what I thought would be good. And it worked because people watch it. They go, oh, wedding. Oh, okay. Oh, make money doing this. Oh, okay. And so, but I got them into it and got them comfortable. And also it engenders trust. We don't have a quickie here. We don't have a fast way you make a big buck. No, this is a long-term passive investment that you invest for a long term for your grandchildren. Oh, okay. And then you start realizing this is not a quickie, get rich quick scheme. Get rich quick idea. This is a long-term investment, and so you get personal with it, and you put feelings into it. That's and everything that we do, we try to make sure that there's love in it, and caring and goodness in whatever the commercial comes across. We're not
seems like there's a big juxtaposition between the fear and the hope and dream.
We mention it in there. Now we're not drilling. We say it in all of the ads. We're not drilling here, so they understand what it is. But I try to get the comfort and the love and the caring, and we're good people. And by the way, these are very good people, Nate. These are not typical, wildcatters. They're very good people in Dallas there.
Well, sounds good. We only have a couple of minutes. Jillian, do you have any takeaways or things that you'd like to share?
I just think this is fascinating about Facebook ads. I would almost say, though, proceed with caution, because it does sound like it's a heavy lift to get them. I feel like there's so much left in this conversation about like, how can you bring down that pay per click for somebody like who's a real estate entrepreneur? Otherwise, the Facebook ads and the Instagram ads sound like they're not going to work for them unless you have incredible follow-up. Well, you can do Facebook ads for $20, Sure, but will it be effective?
It can be effective. I don't know that you're going to get $80 back, but you do want to tell people about your offering, and even advertising in a small way can let people know what you're doing. You can also supplement that with your email campaign and all the other things you're doing. I tell people, if you're not doing online funding, then you're going door to door with vacuum cleaners. The day of going to the VCs. And I tell people, I got friends that are calling up VCs. I said, you're selling vacuum cleaners. You're going door to door. It takes you all day to go over there and have a meeting with them. They come back, they send you back something next week. We're thinking about it. I said, no, you go online and you can reach 100,000 people. We've got an email database of about 60,000 people. And so reach a lot of people in a short amount of time. And that's much better going to a VC who's going to want a bigger piece of your pie too.
Love it. Well, Gene, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your insight and your experience. And definitely eye-opening in what does work, doesn't work, and the way to make really raising capital online effective and what it really requires from the issuers as well. So thank you so much for sharing a few things with us today.
We'll see you again. Bye-bye.
See you again.